Today we're going to learn CSS animations from scratch. We'll start with simple transforms, then move into transitions, keyframes, animation properties, and finally build real-world effects like floating cards, loading spinners, and pulse animations. By the end, you'll understand how virtually every CSS animation works. Let's start with transforms. Transforms allow us to visually change an element without affecting the layout around it. Here we're using Translate X. The x-axis represents horizontal movement. Positive values move the element to the right. Negative values would move it to the left. In this example, the box moves 120 pixels to the right. Another transform function is rotate. Rotate accepts values in degrees. A positive value rotates clockwise. A negative value rotates counterclockwise. Here we're rotating our box by 45 degrees. Scale changes the size of an element. A value of 1 represents the original size. Values larger than 1 increase the size. Values between 0 and 1 shrink the element. Here we're scaling our box to 150% of its original size. Transforms happen instantly. But what if we want smooth movement? That's where transitions come in. Transitions animate changes between states. When the user hovers the box, it moves upward. Because we added a 1-second transition, the movement becomes smooth instead of instantaneous. Transition duration controls how long the animation takes. A larger duration creates slower movement. A smaller duration creates faster movement. Here, we've increased the duration to 2 seconds. Animations aren't just about duration. They also have speed curves. Ease in starts slowly. Ease out ends slowly. Ease in out combines both. This makes animations feel much more natural. Transitions require a state change like hover, but sometimes we want animations that run automatically. That's where keyframes come in. Keyframes define animation stages. From represents the starting state to represents the ending state. The browser automatically creates all the frames in between. By default, animations run once. Adding the infinite keyword causes the animation to repeat forever. This is useful for decorative effects and loading indicators. Notice how the animation snaps back to the beginning. The alternate keyword fixes that. Instead of restarting, the animation reverses direction each cycle. The result is a much smoother back and forth motion. Keyframes don't have to use only from and to. We can define multiple checkpoints. Here the box starts at its original position. At 50% it jumps upward. At 100% it returns. This creates a bounce effect. Animations aren't limited to movement. We can animate colors too. The browser smoothly interpolates between different color values. This creates dynamic visual effects without JavaScript. Border radius can also be animated. The shape gradually changes between different corner values. This technique is often used to create blob effects and modern UI animations. One of the most common real-world animations is a loading spinner. We create a circular border, then color only the top section. Finally, we continuously rotate the element. The result is a smooth loading indicator. Floating effects are common in landing pages and modern interfaces. The object slowly moves upward and downward. Because the movement is subtle and continuous, it creates a feeling of depth. Pulse animations draw attention. The element grows slightly larger, then returns to its original size. This technique is often used for buttons, notifications, and call-to-action elements. This is where CSS animations become really powerful. An element can run multiple animations simultaneously. Here we're combining floating movement with color transitions. The browser executes both animations at the same time. This allows us to create complex effects using only CSS. You've now learned the complete foundation of CSS animations. Once you understand these concepts, every advanced CSS animation becomes a combination of the techniques you've learned today.